The former Chief of the Defence Staff, General Sir David Richards, who is in, I think it's Hampshire this evening. Thanks for being with us. Well, we spoke a week or two ago. You said all was not lost in Afghanistan. Do you think it is now?
Yeah, I mean, I felt it was going to be lost, but not in the time frame. Even I, and I've seen a bit, are pretty stunned by the speed of the Taliban advance. But as soon as President Biden took that decision, the morale, the bottom, if you like, went out of the Afghan armed forces, and it was inevitable. And that's what's happened. That's why they haven't fought. They've held no, they didn't have their friends and logistic and command and control experts, let alone the air support they needed. And I'm afraid they packed up, and that's what soldiers will do. Where are we now? Without a doubt, we have to come to terms with the fact that the Taliban has won. It's a very sorry day because it wasn't necessary, but they won, and we now need to do some sort of deal with them and exert whatever leverage we can over their conduct.
Right. Well, the Taliban has won, you say. I mean, that must be heartbreaking for you. You led men there. You saw blood spilt there. Do you feel angry about the way it's happened?
I do, actually, and I think most of us do, because it was unnecessary. And it's quite clear that Western governments have been caught completely by surprise. I've just heard the Prime Minister. I was very disappointed by most of what he said. But the fact is, they've completely outpaced us, the Taliban. The non-combatant evacuation operation that is taking place today is taking place under the Taliban. That is not what was intended. And it's a huge, commentary on the fact that they have outpaced us and caught us out. It wasn't intended, it wasn't necessary, and we could have sustained the operation that we've had in place for a few years now, for many years more. There was no political pressure on President Biden, as I understand it from my American friends, and there's certainly no political pressure here. I know the British government were disappointed in the Americans' decision, but I do feel NATO, led if necessary by Britain and France, could have done a lot more quickly to stabilise the situation and prevent this from happening. The fact they didn't is it's a sad testament of NATO's real strength without American underpinning and of our lack of international diplomatic clout.
And you say you heard the Prime Minister speaking there. What disappointed you about what he said, and what should he have done more?
Well, the first thing I must pick him up on is, yes, he's right. For 20 years, we have not had a terrorist attack from Afghanistan, planned or executed. But what now? There's a whole load of ungoverned space. I want to hear, along with many, many others, not just ex-military or serving military, what the plan is to deal with that. The Taliban, in some cases, will be amenable. They've become much more savvy over the last 20 years. But the fact is, there's a lot of unpleasant people they've teamed up with over the years, and we know are mingled with them at the moment, that they will find very difficult to control. They will start to work now on planning reprisals against the West. I fear it will draw in other similarly minded people. It will revitalize radicalized radical groups in various other parts of the region, and altogether militant Islam, if that's the right term, is now on the rise again. Now, that is a geostrategic failure of huge proportions. China and Russia will, and I noted the Prime Minister saying that we've got to remain as one on this. His worry, I'm sure, is that Russia and China will do independent deals with the new Taliban government, and that they effectively will fill the vacuum that we were very firmly in charge of.
And just briefly, 20 seconds left. Do you see a day when NATO forces will be back in Afghanistan?
I think if terrorist groups reform in the way I fear could happen, but we've got to exert some leverage now over the Taliban, I must say that, and deal with them, then it's inevitable that in one way or another, NATO will have to be back in there just to protect ourselves.
OK, General Richards, appreciate your time. Thank you.